Hi, my name is Asia Coffey and I'm a senior interior designer at Schmidt Associates. I'm also a 2009 graduate of the interior architecture program. The program helped me prepare for my current role by really giving me all the technical skills that I needed to succeed. Not just learning AutoCAD. At the time we didn't have Revit, so just being prepared to learn new technology so that it's able to help to create the designs and also bring those designs to life. In my role as an interior designer at Schmidt Associates, I do a lot of different things from day to day. Primarily, my job as a commercial interior designer is to ensure the health, safety, and welfare of the public. I take great pride in doing that and also using my creativity to really bring spaces to life. So while in the program, I learned a lot of different things, and there are some skills that have carried over into my professional life. Some of the things that I do on a daily basis are definitely using the programs in a technical manner to bring the designs to life. Also got a lot of experience meeting deadlines and those sorts of things. And also in the program, we learned a lot about presenting and having the opportunity to get up in front of a class and present to a larger audience. One of the most impactful things that came out of my participation in the interior architecture program was being a part of the student design show. The annual show is a big deal. Every year, it's an opportunity for students to definitely do their best work in class so that they can showcase it in front of others. And so having that opportunity really motivated me to make sure that I was doing my best work because I wanted to help to put on a great show. Directly, my participation in the student design show helped me to land my first major internship, which turned into a full-time position when I graduated in 2009. Participating in the program really helped me to hone and develop my presentation skills. Being in front of the instructor and fellow students was an opportunity to really practice those skills and develop them, and that's something that I use on a weekly basis in my professional life. Also, being able to meet the deadlines for projects is also something I do almost on a daily basis. Learning the time management is something that anyone can benefit from, and that's something you get practice doing while you're in the program. I am born and raised in Indianapolis, and I've always been aware of what educational institutions that are around town. But when I graduated from high school, I moved to Illinois and went to a completely different school. And then, long story short, I moved back to Indianapolis. And when I did, I was working at a place called Kinko's, it's now called FedEx Office. And I distinctly remember there was a young lady who came in to make copies of something she was doing for a project. And I was like, hey, can I help you? I was ringing her out and I was curious, and I said, hey, what is this? Tell me about what this is. And she mentioned, I'm a student of the interior architecture program, and we have this project where we need to take an old fire station and convert it into a condo. And it's pretty fun, it's pretty neat program. And I remember later on that week, I looked up the program. I was like, oh, I think this is what I want to do. And that was the moment that I just made the decision, let me give this a try and see where it goes from there. But yeah, that's how I did that. It was just the most random thing. I was working, and one day she came, I don't even know the student's name. I don't recall ever seeing her after that again, actually. That's how I even found out about the program. I had no clue that that was even a thing that you could go to school for. From the time that I had the encounter with that student to the moment I was in my first class, it was less than a year. As a kid growing up, I loved art. Art class was my favorite class. I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to do something that was art related because I love being creative. And I actually, when I moved out of state to go to school, I was actually in art school. So when I moved back to Indianapolis, I knew that I wanted to have a career doing something that was creative, but also something that was practical. So that was another thing that influenced my decision in becoming an interior designer. Going through the program in a great city like Indianapolis, I felt like I had some of the best resources available in terms of opportunities for internships, also getting to know other design professionals and getting engaged in organizations like IIDA and ASID. Again, Indianapolis is a hub, it's a major city, so I felt like there are a lot more resources there. Going through the program, I definitely felt like I was industry ready day one, especially with the technical skills. One of the things that I think is really important, because technology has changed over the last decade or so. So there are programs that we use now that we did not even know of 10, 15 years ago. So one of the really great things about the program is they really instill that you have to be flexible, because things are always changing and technology is one of those things. So learning Revit for the first time outside of being in the program wasn't as scary, because I was prepared for it and I knew to expect it. And so that's great. And I feel like that's a soft skill that you learn being in a program like this, as well as, the hard technical skills. All of the Revit that I've learned has been in a firm, in an office, learning the software by using it every day. So I did not learn Revit in the classroom, but at the same time, I was ready for it by going through the program. For any student who's thinking about joining the program, is a great opportunity. If you're someone who feels innately creative, this is an opportunity for you to give back to your community and also showcasing your creativity and impacting the world in that way. So I remember when I was going into the program, I was super, super, super excited, like to be back in the classroom setting, university level, in this way, to learn something completely new. What I would have told myself sitting in that class the first day, just walking in, I would say to myself, this is the start of a journey. And the learning begins here, but it does not end here. And it's been amazing. It's continuing to be amazing. And I'm really looking forward to the role that I'm playing in the interior design industry. So when you're in a program like the interior architecture program, you're given lots of opportunities and you're really in the best place to learn. And these are small things that really add up to the larger story of what your career is going to be. So in this way, you're really taking those small steps that are leading to giant leaps, not only for yourself, but for others as well. One great example of work that I feel has been very impactful in my role here at Schmidt Associates, and that is the work that we do for Lutheran Child and Family Services. They have a facility where children are in foster care for one reason or another. And we've worked with them over the last several years on designing their facilities. And in my most recent project, I had the opportunity to really just kind of provide a warmer, more home-like setting for children who are in this situation. And that's one of my goals as an interior designer, not just the health, safety, welfare part of it, but also the emotional connection, the mental wellness in general of people using the spaces that I design. So it was my pleasure to work directly with the staff at Lutheran Child and Family Services and their healthcare partners to create a space that was trauma-informed, but also fun and did not feel like a prison or a facility, but it felt like a home, which is important to the children in that situation. So in working on this project, we never got the opportunity to have one-on-ones or even group sessions with the children to see if there was anything in particular that they would like or didn't like. We worked directly with the facilities directors to try to get a sense of what would be the ideal environment for the children. But again, in the outcome, we were really happy with how the project turned out. It's beautiful, it's warm, the colors are just amazing, but most importantly, they're trauma-informed so that we bring the emotional and mental well-being of the children into perspective. But again, this is a really great example of how you can make an impact on someone without ever meeting that person. So my hope is that these children live in this space, enjoy the space, and it creates positive memories for them once they are out of that situation. There are some misconceptions around what an interior designer does and how an interior designer is different from an interior decorator. With the design part of it, again, it's really ensuring the health, safety, and welfare of the public, and then putting your creative twist onto it. But again, for someone who didn't know that this was a career option, just know that it is a lot more than what you would expect it to be. And I don't spend my days choosing paint colors or choosing fabrics just to make things look pretty. The major part of my job as an interior designer is creating impactful spaces. I taught interior materials and applications fall semester 2024, and that was a fantastic experience. Just being in the building after graduating from the program 15 years ago and stopping by and talking to one of my old professors who's still teaching there, that's been really fun. So being out in the industry versus being in a program is almost night and day, two different scenarios, and you learn so much by being out in the industry and working and having those real life applications. And so I had the opportunity of teaching as a limited term lecturer for the fall 2024 semester, and going back into the classroom as an instructor after I'd been in the industry for so many years was a very enlightening experience. When you're in the program, there's so much that you kind of gloss over. You get this wide overview of information, and you don't realize how much you'll use it or how important it will be until you're out in what they call the real world, actually working in the industry. So it was very different. It was so insightful just to see and kind of go back and forth. There were some things that I was especially trying to impress upon my students is this is really important, or oh, you'll see this later down the line. And I hope that they picked up on some of that, but being in the program versus being out as a professional is different, but being in a program definitely prepares you for that giant leap. So at Schmidt Associates, we do hire a lot of interns, and some of our greatest interns have come from the interior architecture program through Purdue. We're here in downtown Indianapolis. We are in a prime location. We're on Massachusetts Avenue. It's a fantastic hub, and it's a really great environment for any interior architecture student who wants to really jump in and learn as much as you can in this industry. So it's been an amazing journey coming from the program, being a part of the design industry, and now being able to turn around and hire and mentor students who are coming through the same program that I came through. It's been a whole full circle experience. So in my role here at Schmidt Associates as an interior designer, my day looks different from day to day, from week to week. I could be making a presentation one day, I can be preparing construction documents another day to go out to bid, putting together specifications. I can be selecting finishes one day, but selecting finishes is not all that I do. It is an important part of my job, but not the most important part of my job. The most important part of my job is making sure that I create spaces that make an impact for the clients and for the owners that we serve. I'm so glad that I met that student the day that I went into work at FedEx office, because I did not know that day a whole nother world of opportunities, of possibilities opened up to me. And as someone who's been in the industry for a while now, I could say with certainty that this was definitely the path for me. When you're stacking a cake, there are definitely some structural things you have to be aware of. So that does straddle the line between interior architecture and cake artistry. Presentation skills and knowing what looks good. Again, working with principles and elements of design, color, pattern, scale, textures, all of that stuff is all design, it's all aesthetics. The only difference is you have to make your cake taste good too.